Yes. How do I look?
What about
Oh
you
shit,
forward?
Jack, Daniel, you're not even on. Okay.
There's a few problems.
Recording now?
They're teething.
Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah.
Teething problems.
Okay, let's have a look then. Yeah. Yeah, looks
I
good.
don't know why I just can call it teething because it's about the teeth, but teething. I suppose it sounds.
That shot, Daniel? Yeah, I'm good with that shot. Yeah.
Son of a me. You son of a ginster.
Okay. So you
I
won't.
can't move then because I'm right.
No,
the
you
mic's
can't.
right
Just
there.
you know
What
how to
about-
fucking. If you put on the headphones, Phil, you'd hear
Oh.
yourself.
You should hear yourself.
You know what I mean?
Well, but I mean, obviously you're talking near a
being-
mic. How am I
you're-
going to get that wrong?
You're being obtuse.
No, you're
a
going to make it that I'm
contrarian,
obtuse
an
the whole time.
obstination.
Because if you're square ways,
Why don't you put on the headphones?
You never asked me to put them on.
Sorry. You see, if you put them on, then you can hear them. Then
Yeah,
you
that's-
know
you're
what I mean?
right. I can hear
Then you can
my
hear
voice.
Yeah, you can.
Oh
hear,
my gosh.
Yeah, I know, but if you, yeah, but if you, yeah, but so I want to capture your fucking voice. Ah, Phil, you know, you
got
just,
it.
You were
some
don't
jam?
put it down.
Do you not like
Don't
that?
touch things.
Dave, if I'm going to upset you, I may as well have a lot of fun doing it. Have you seen what's in the paper today?
Yeah, but we can't hear
There's
you
so
upsetting me. I can't hear you
What
upsetting
did you
me.
say?
Okay.
I can hear you fine. What
Yeah,
is
I
this?
know you can hear me, but
So
we're
when you
trying to
put on an
record.
earphone, it helps you be heard. I'm talking near the microphone. I'll never get that wrong. I'm a natural with mics. Dave, I've had over 30 years at
Can imagine living next.
mic
can imagine-
business.
can imagine-
30 years experience.
Imagine being a girl
handling a
and
mic.
waking up next to this, lads. What?
Yeah, your breath in sync, spooning together. Oh, I prefer forking. Spooning's fine, but it doesn't offer any possible. But forking.
Yeah, well, because somebody was talking about knife culture, but what about fork culture? Or spoon culture? It'd be much better if people spooned each other, you know what I mean? And you get the, whatever, you
A
know.
lot of children being caught by the detectives
And
bringing their sporks into town,
and
into schools.
Don't you think, what do you think about knife crime?
I think the
No, but what do you think about somebody getting a knife? Have you ever had a knife?
there's a hell of a lot of knife crime because it's bloody easy to get one,
Right.
and they're out there, and it's a perfect weapon for. We shouldn't even give it any limelight. You can get a knife, no problem.
Right, and but it's so intimate. You have to get right
Oh,
up close.
God.
Intimate.
Yeah.
Well, do some comedy about
Well, some
intimacy and knives. You're so.
I can do comedy about anything. I relish a challenge, and I'll come up with something.
Relish.
You give it to an AI robot, fair enough. If you give it to me, I will make a stab at it. So knife crime,
So you have a lot of bisexual friends, I hear.
hundreds of them.
Yeah.
In fact, everyone is. And I'm
Do you
working-
reckon that's true? Do you reckon under the right
No, I would no.
circumstance?
I don't. I just don't happen to have any, or any, or
Any-
an Asian friend.
Okay.
Is Iraq? A very good friend is from Iraq, maybe. But bisexuals, I don't know. I think we're all a wee bit bisexual because what's that thing about?
Well, first of all, can I just, because we're doing this for, and that's why we're not together, Jack
camera?
and Daniel are not here. Jack can't introduce me, but I would like to say who this is if you don't know. This is Phil K. Philip K. And, well, I mean, one of the greatest comedians, is it safe to say? And he has his own ASMR.
Stands for absolutely smashing, minuscule.
The first time I
racket.
met Phil K, right?
Yeah, let's go back. in time, Dave.
1996.
It doesn't matter to them.
I don't care. It's
You
for
can't
me, for
prove to
fuck's
them.
sake. But you were kind to me. You were kind to me, and I was so desperate for validation from comedians of your caliber. Well, actually, do you know something? I'd never seen anyone like you back then. You were head and shoulder. Come on, I know this is.
I'm just going to
it's
sit
awful.
back.
I hate. I don't
sit
know
back,
what.
I'll listen to it. I love
Okay,
it.
but I'm okay.
It's in the mind. I
Sorry.
meet people all the
No.
time. They go, "God,
Yeah,
I want to be like you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
free
yeah. I
and
know.
wild
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
bit rough."
No, I'm not saying
and
that.
it's up to them.
I'm just saying that I had never seen anyone do. It's so awkward, but it's worth mentioning
It's
because
great.
people forget. Like, I mean, when you were doing what you were doing in 95, 96, when did you start? Please. I know. Okay, don't answer the question. Do answer the question.
No, but I'll answer it. I don't mind. About 8:30. Sunrise earlier, but I had to get out. That's when I started in the heats of a So You Think You're Funny competition. That's why I entered. That's how I began in Edinburgh in 1989. So I've worked in the 80s, the 90s, the noughties, the toonties, and the hoonties. I've worked in 5 decades.
Wow. But what was it was so it's still when because me and actual was it you or was it Jack, we were looking at a clip of you when you were
you've seen a clip
when you were so young.
Yeah.
And it was so fresh and unusual.
My grandmother always said, Phil, right, when you're doing comedy, right, never leave them while they're still laughing. So bye.
I hadn't who were you? Who did you look up to when you started? What drew you into it? Why would you enter a competition in 1989?
Some guy said you should. I'd never been to a standing gig. I didn't know anything about it.
On the basis of what?
Of my general funniness in social situations.
Okay.
His name was Glenn. And yeah, I just so happened to be gathering what are technically called one-liners, funny things, like jokes. They just started to come into the diary. Like, I like a good square meal. Toast. It is square.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so I had about 22 of them, lasted 3 minutes, if I could remember, you know. So I had no idea about comedy, and yeah, you could just do it. It's so simple.
How old were you then?
19. No, 20.
Yeah.
20. So I had one-liners for years, and then I started to add bits where you just start, once they're laughing, you just start adding more and going, and it evolved. As I evolved as a human, my act completely evolved. So I completely changed. I suppose everyone does a bit, but...
Yeah. But, yeah, I suppose when people see somebody being brilliant, they think, well, how does that happen? Or they want you to explain it. Like I've been doing comedy a long time, but I'm not very aware. Like, no, don't make vagina sounds.
Can't hear anything.
Oh God.
The greater thrush, the osprey. Yeah, I'll fight your digitals anytime. You can give me a anatomically, digitally, perfectly.
Look, I'll tell you what it was. I saw you a few times.
I'll see you and I'll raise you.
Listen, I've seen you a few times.
I was on the tube yesterday, right, and there was lots of people, and they were all wearing earbuds. So I just went, right, and the one other person not wearing earbuds went, watch me now. They can't hear you.
Yeah.
And then, but if you do fart, then you can see they can't hear you, but they can smell you, and it dawns on them. They're in the little earbud world listening to a podcast. You know what the most popular podcast is in India? There must be a joke there.
Go on.
Cast. The new
No, it's
cast. It's like a credit.
okay.
You check your cast.
Yeah.
Is cast still a big
Yeah.
thing in India?
Well.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, now I feel stupid trying to have a serious conversation and telling somebody how funny they are, and then they're being funny, and then I feel like I'm going, hey, stop being funny, I want to talk to you about being funny.
Wake up, it's time for your sleeping pills.
But listen, cunt face, I don't mean that hurtfully. Seeing you on a lineup and you see all these comedians. I saw you in Australia in 2000. It's all, hey, how you going? And then you came on like a fucking, I don't know what it was like, but it's just like I don't know if you're breaking the comedy rules, but you whatever's happening in the fucking room, you pull a light fixture and you associate it with that person, and then you play around with a bit of dust over there.
It's lovely being in a bill, because you'll have one guy, so there's room for one to just go, basically hope something happens, and hope what happens is the magic. And you still need to be doing stuff, and yet the magic is the magic. So hopefully I'll just go woohoo.
It is a kind of a fucking little bit of magic when it's in the flow.
Sometimes I've got nothing. I mean, I have got things I can do if it all, and yet when it's working, it's just working.
But you see, that's the thing. I remember, and so many people have sort of tried to capture you, but you don't like it. You think what you do can't be seen on camera.
Do, it could be very annoying. Imagine that. It's one of those guys going,
what do you mean by that, Phil? It can be very... Oh, what? Sorry, I'm interrupting.
When it settles into its loveliness, and yeah, you're right, when it's desperate, I mean, I can think it'd be awful to see this guy going, and yet if you get into something and stories and allow yourself to lateralise and calm down and speak about your day, you'll be reminded of things, and it can go well, you can get surreal. That's certainly a bad copy of me would be, I've seen them.
No, but what I'm saying is somebody trying to capture what you do at the height of your brilliance or magicness, it doesn't seem to be able to be, sometimes, well, you did your TV show Phil K. Fields, didn't you, back in the day?
Did that, yeah.
won't believe it. I hate interviewing people. Do you know that?
Doesn't laugh.
It's awful.
What do you mean? You don't like this?
I don't know how to interview people. I never
thought it was going to be an interview.
Well, I don't know what the fuck because people don't know you. People don't know you.
Just have a conversation.
People don't. Yeah, but I want people to know you and to know how fucking good you are.
Thanks.
Like for me, like when I saw comedian, it's quite a revelation. You see, I saw Tommy Tiernan that year. I thought he was very good, and then I saw you, and I just didn't know what the fuck was going on. Just this guy's bringing this idea and sort of throwing it that way and throwing it that way, and then suddenly it becomes another idea, and what the fuck?
Yeah, when it goes well, it's great. It is definitely so.
But when you say what? You know, all these comedians have specials. Why don't you have a big special? A Phil K. Netflix special.
I know.
Why don't you?
Good point.
Or not why. How don't you?
Yeah.
Would you have to film 30 shows in a row?
To get in that position, to be asked, you'd have to be reliable in a certain way that I'm not really reliable to the execs. I challenge the execs. They sort of go, because it just won't be replicated, and anyone could go. And yet, you're right, if you did 10 or 12 with a minimal, you'd get one that's just wow, or whatever.
Or you stitch together.
Yeah, or you could do an Edinburgh run in a nice venue and film it every night, and something magic would happen every night, but something would magic happen best. You get it.
Do you think that's so? When you say the execs, so you'd be sitting let's say you'd be sitting talking to execs or whatever they are, and they'd say, "Yeah, Phil, we really want to, capture your Philness and transpose it on," and they might say something, and you just go, "Will you fuck off?"
Yeah, or they want you to quiz show, panel shows, or this is back in the day, not anymore, but there's a point where it's like, you've got to do these things, like, no, I don't want to, because doing the thing is what I want to do, so I would do the thing. But yeah, execs, they always were mistrustful of me because I was mistrustful of them. And one guy said, "You think everybody in TV is a bunch of cunts?" And I was like, "Wow, what a statement!"
Yeah,
and that was in Scotland talking about, because I did some TV shows in Scotland after doing a big one on Channel 4. I did silly little ones in Scotland. They're always making me do things like giving me a bus and just go around on a bus, an open top bus and stuff, and getting it wrong. But so I did a lot. So I worked with execs.
I think you were talking about that actually, because I just did the Galway Comedy Festival. Kevin Healy did this thing called a comedy pub crawl, and you were talking about the idea of taking a group of people and kind of doing a comedy show. I think that would work brilliantly.
I did that this year.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
I had the microphone and transmitter, and I had 25 headsets. So I'd have 25 people walking around with me, but I could just mumble and talk quiet. I didn't have to sort of project at a group. And we could do funny things and walk low and creep up on people. And then I would just give them a tour of this part of Edinburgh and told stories about things where they happened. I actually told stories of, like, in that building there, you know, I got thrown out by the bouncer and I would tell the story. So it's quite good. I mean, you have them moving around, just something different than standing in a room for another year. I couldn't do it.
Do you think you've done it so much, Phil, that you've finished it?
Yeah,
you've finished.
It's completed.
Do you think so, Phil?
Yeah, because it means that every now and then I
want to capture
every now
word.
and every now and then I do a gig, and it can be incredibly fun. But I don't seek them out. I do other things, and I've much got into writing and music, so that's my love. But I still do gigs, but I don't seek them out. So you do festivals, which are easy to get onto, and Summer and Edinburgh Festival and all that stuff, and then they're. But yeah, seeking gigs and doing hundreds.
So
of
you've lost not lost, or it's just lost.
I just sort of you just back from it, rather than fighting to do the things.
Sorry,
Daniel doing a sound effect. That's it.
Why so few?
Reduces Phil's life to. Fucking hell.
sorry.
Fucking hell.
He leaned on it. He meant to do or another other sound effect.
Sorry.
Quite right, Dave.
But you know, I guess what it is what is it? It is. You know, you see these great comedians, these popular comedians, and they're playing stadiums. And you know, I personally will look at them and kind of go like this, look, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then
there's something wrong about it.
Well, no, but they, you know, because they fit into that, they're kind of like almost family-friendly comedians, all things to all people. So they're, you know that, and comedy. There's a spectrum. It has a place. But then someone like you, what are you sneezing?
Sorry.
How dare you?
Well, once you get a sneeze starting to come, everything else just it becomes less important, and you're in the foothills of a. Sort of semi-orgasmic expulsion, and then when it goes away from you, it's just one of life's little personal experiences, isn't it?
Some people don't know how to sneeze properly.
Some people don't. They will suppress it. And,
oh yeah,
and
I know.
Something, their arms will go up. Or
my mother does that. This is how she sneezes. Look.
Yeah.
And then you see my father. I look at my father, and he goes like this. You know, so he's been tortured for years by this sneeze.
It's better than a. You know.
Oh, you're talking about
my dad.
Yeah, about his.
Well, I don't know if you can see this, but can you see this in the wide shot?
Yeah.
So my dad he'll be out and about, and he'll just kind of undo his thing and just sort of fix himself. Mm. But you know, in public.
We'll do the whole shirt, and my dad used to take his trousers down to about his thigh. Yeah. Put the shirt and make a big deal of putting the shirt in it.
But in public, though.
Yeah.
What's wrong with these people?
They're self-entitled. You come from an aristocratic line of blue blood.
No.
It's turned you into some kind of inbred monster. Look at you. Looking for a mountain to carve your Rushmore face in.
Listen, you have carved your Mount Rushmore face in. Are you saying that you don't have ambition or goals?
I've got an ambition to speak to Arthur C. Clarke before he dies. Now I've got an ambition. Right now I'm cutting an album where we're going to produce some vinyl and then give the vinyl record to all these advertising agencies.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll use my music in an advert. How about that? That's a great ambition. Then somehow you get your band booked to play like expensive gigs or something. I've got ambition in the music world where I'd like to be playing more gigs where people are dancing. And my friend's running a really magic high-end arts club.
Let's go back to that attack
Ambition's
that you just did to me, with going on about my Mount Rushmore head and all that kind of stuff.
Are you going back now?
Yeah, I want to go back to that.
You're listening.
I was listening.
Okay.
Well, what music are you?
Just music to dance to. It's called glam skiffle. That's our genre. You've heard of glam rock?
Yeah, I've heard of glam rock.
This is glam skiffle.
Skiffle.
Well, skiffle. You know what skiffle is? It's early rock and roll without a bass player.
Oh.
And it's
Lonnie Donegan. What's that song?
We've moved on from that. But yeah, something like more like J.J. Cale when he've had too many drinks,
Oh yeah, we were listening to After Midnight.
After Midnight.
Yeah, we were
it's a good
listening to
one.
that
Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah.
Hmm. Son of a bitch.
I've had to ring so much in this newspaper. I was thinking if we didn't have anything to say, at least we'll have that. There's so much stuff I had to ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hundreds of it. I can't even know where it is. Lucky it's not making any noise. It's crinkling. It's miles from the mic. No, I didn't ring that, but I could have.
No, do you remember how this is how my dad would read the papers when I was growing up? It'd be like this, look. Roll that. No. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
He'd hit the papers. And then when I was a kid, like 6 or 7, I'd hear my dad in the toilet righting the wrongs perpetrated against him during the day. So he'd be like, he'd be reenacting a situation. And he'd be saying, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you another. I'll tell your man another thing. Yeah, and he never did tell your man another thing because in the moment he went.
That's all he had
He went
to
like,
do.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
He won
and
it-
in
he
the
won all of
jacks,
them.
another thing, and another thing. Oh look, it's Hannah. Yeah.
Oh, where's Jack?
He's not. Look at my
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, hi, Phil.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Go- in you go,
So lovely
Nana.
to see you.
In you go, Mała, krówka. In
Oh,
you go, Nana.
Just a brief intermission.
That's Phil's hat.
yeah.
Thanks.
We're talking-
Is that the decoration?
No, that was Phil torturing me.
We were doing, before, at the beginning, we were doing stuff, funny stuff with objects.
Oh, okay.
How's Hannah looking?
Yeah, she probably needs to be more centered.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect.
It doesn't need to be perfect.
need to be perfect.
you Yeah. fat
bastard.
Your hair's gone.
It's Nick's like as long as yours.
Yeah.
That's mad. I'll get a haircut in a couple of Sundays.
Yeah, you can grow
I mean-
your hair.
Grow your hair, why not? It's just... What else? It's the easiest haircut in the world. Just go like that.
Look at Hannah.
Yeah. How are you?
Today, great. Having
Did
a
you
great
arrive
time.
today?
Just now. Came straight here on the taxi. It's terrific, yeah. I love it. It's nice to be doing it.
Show me, Hannah.
Yeah?
Show me, Hannah. Check.
Is that where you always sit?
Go on. Go on, Hannah. Yeah. Okay. Is that okay, Jack?
Yes.
Daniel.
Oh, whatever your fucking name is.
His name is all one word, Jack Daniel.
Hannah. So, Hannah, Phil K.
Yeah.
Why do you love Phil K?
I love food cake.
I'm speaking to the fucking microphone.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, folks.
I feel like I'm at school.
Go on. Why do you love Phil K?
I love Phil K because he's the most gentle, generous, loving person.
No, go on.
I've
What?
ever
What?
met. And also, like, I remember Phil coming to our house and playing with Jack and Daniel and being just so like a child himself, and they had the
See,
best time
told you.
ever.
Didn't they?
They loved Phil.
We got on well. They were
Yeah.
very generous people to allow me to be
Yeah, but it's
visiting.
not only gone well. Like, they had the best
well.
time ever.
Good.
Yeah,
And
you were
also-
amazing. You're amazing with kids. You're absolutely like kids.
That's what I'm best at, actually.
Well, and
Yeah.
you did kids shows in Edinburgh, didn't you?
I've done lots of kids. Yeah.
Lots of kids shows.
We have a whole bunch of them, 20 of them, and then just muck about with them.
Push
One
the
by
microphone
one.
close to his mouth. He's very anti-mouth. He's very anti everything.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good to be rebellious.
And you're the same.
Because I don't know, I can't really hear.
So yeah, go on.
myself.
And he
And
was.
also-
Phil was amazing. Jack and Daniel, like, what was he doing?
Yeah, I don't know, playing around, fooling around, wrestling, telling them stories, going like cooking. Wasn't like
What was
you
what were your
made
kids'
it,
shows
like
about?
Spaghetti. Did you make them spaghetti
Must have, at
once?
some point, I must have
And
cooked for them.
I remember it saying, and it was like the funniest spaghetti, maybe not the tastiest, but they ate it and because it was
Funny
the
spaghetti.
funniest spaghetti
I
ever.
would have done something with it. Maybe I used to tie in knots. No.
What were you? What
Yeah, you could
can you
have,
can
you
you
could
remember
have.
what your kids shows were about, or what were they doing, or
Yeah,
what? Were,
they'd all bring a prop, and so they'd have to bring an unusual item, and then
Aw.
then they'd give them to me all, and they'd all be there.
oh, so sweet.
And then one by one, each one would come and do something. I said, basically, come and make something up with a hat or whatever.
Okay.
And each one will do something, and it's called Give Me Your Left Shoe. So they've all given me their left shoe, which takes ages at the beginning, getting everyone's left shoe and lining them all up and put them in a box or whatever. It's very easy. Then you just go, who's next? And then
Yeah.
the kids all, it was brilliant. And you keep this order. You'd have this authority of but really straight. There's no silliness. Most kids shows say silly things, but I was just completely straight with it, right? And then
Okay, giving them a sense of purpose,
you
or
could make the parents laugh like mad by being really straightforward with them, and it was
Yeah.
just so funny.
it's funny because I see your man Michael Barrymore a lot showing up on TikTok, and listen, but he's a very good kids interviewer.
Michael Barrymore.
I thought he was good. I think
Who
he's
is
good. And you don't? Do you know? Do you ever see him? He's very good with kids. I thought, or not?
yeah.
Is he not?
I don't know.
Or there's a lot of competition
know.
between.
Who's Michael Barrymore?
It's a load of shit. I'm much better with kids than Barrymore. What
Who
a
is
fucking
Barrymore?
hack. He's a
We
comedian.
don't. Yeah, it
What?
can't be.
What? What? You can't be.
It can't be the him that you mean.
I
The
mean,
swimming pool death.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Right.
No, because he did a kids say the funniest things or something. I thought he's quite. Anyway, it's kids. It's just gorgeous to see kids and the things they say when they feel they're loved and liked, and they come up
Yeah.
with great ideas, and they're just so sweet.
Yeah, kids
Yeah,
are
well,
very
they-
creative.
And did you do another type of show, or was that the? Why are you laughing about that? Because I'm asking you normal. I'm not asking you normal questions.
It's nice.
He's a politician.
Who is?
David. You
I know he's had a go at me already.
about being politician.
Yeah, coming from that background, but it's
What
not
kind
my
of
fault. I
politician
was-
is he?
Who?
What kind of?
Yeah.
I can't really.
Is David? Is he starting? a
Can you not hear
political-
yourself?
Yeah, I can't hear myself really.
Are you not plugged in, Mrs.?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't.
Oh, there
I
you
don't
go.
need.
That's too.
Oh yeah.
That's too
yeah.
high, Daniel. That's too high.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
We'll just adjust your particular one. Oh, there's Jack. Look.
oh yeah, we're getting.
What time is it, Daniel?
What time you guys have to? 6 o'clock.
The doors don't open to 8.
Well, do we have plenty of
Okay,
time?
fine.
I'm gonna drive you guys.
Great.
And actually, my friend is there on the door. Sinead O'Connor. It's like a coincidence.
Same name.
The same name as Sinead O'Connor. That's not Daniel. That's Parcel.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
What, the next door?
Not next door, but the next door couple. You know the couple, the fucking.
Okay, David. What are you talking about now?
You know the fucking couple, the fucking funeral face.
Yeah.
Are you gonna post it?
No, it was delivered. They're not fucking there, so they delivered it to me. So, but I don't want to.
No, but
Huh?
you cannot have it on your podcast talking like that about a couple 2 doors down.
Of course, I'll cut this out. Cunt, fanny, piss, wank, shite, balls.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah.
so fucking mature.
Do you really hate them? No, you don't.
No, he
He's
doesn't.
just being
It's rubbish.
obscure. He's just being obscure. It
just-
doesn't mean anything.
Let that fucking cat into that fucking thing.
But you stop. You're just being distracted. The cat doesn't do anything.
Go on, please.
Did you?
Go on, psh, fuck off. Go on. No, I'm going to edit all this out now. Obviously.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have a competition. Who comes up with better or funny description of that item?
Actually, how long have we
Look,
been broadcasting
No, I'll
for,
take
Jack?
any challenge. I love a
27
challenge.
minutes.
I don't think you could. I don't know. You can't go wrong with that.
Hey, can we do?
They-
You don't get many a jar that's
Oh,
see-through
hey,
but
hey.
not, but misty. It's like mysterious. It's letting you in a bit. That is a mystery jar.
This jar is packaged to look attractive to fucking idiots like me. Look, it's like an old-fashioned jam jar. And do you know how much it cost?
20
Oh, it's
euro.
very nice, though. It's €20. Okay, listen.
Did I guess right?
Can I just say to Phil that Hannah here every week she does a 1 minute of stand-up comedy, and it very rarely goes well, but it's kind of you're with one of the greatest,
Yeah,
in my
storyteller,
estimation,
comedian.
stand-up comedians ever, Mr. Phil Kay. Ladies and gentlemen,
What's
you
the-
don't have to do the music. I'll put in the music.
I think I have the
Oh,
music
do you?
here,
Okay,
yeah.
ladies and
I wrote something.
okay, ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen,
I'll
please
say
welcome Hannah Andrews with "And That's Why We're Not Laughing."
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Okay, I think I'm gonna talk about Barbie and Ken because they're such. Oh, what's
Just
this one?
talk about. Just don't say it. Just go into it. Sorry.
Can we just do it again?
Okay, okay.
You can't behave like
I know.
this.
Just say. Just okay. Okay. Go on.
Okay.
because you can't,
Ladies
you
and
can't
gentlemen.
just give me.
Okay. Sorry. I'm just upset because I lost my.
You're simply the best. Better than all.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about Barbie and Ken because they're such incredible icons, and especially for young people, young girls and young boys. But I would like to ask you a question: why there is not a pregnant Barbie doll? And I know you don't know the answer, because Ken come in a different box. And there's another question: what does Barbie do at Halloween? You don't know, but she simply pumps Ken. Pumps Ken.
Pumpkins.
And why?
Hannah, you've looked on.
And why do plain Barbie smell like fish? Because they keep on putting shrimps on Barbie.
Okay. Hannah.
And also Barbie and Ken.
Hannah, you can't just look up the internet and get these shit jokes. That's
I
not.
can,
No, it doesn't work like that. That's the first time you've done that.
Yeah, because I thought that I just bring the TikTok culture to
No.
our podcast.
What does she normally do?
She'd normally make up her own bits and pieces and do stories and do stand up.
Yeah.
But this is like a stand-up
No, but you
based
can't-
on TikTok.
Okay. Oh, you got those jokes from TikTok.
Yes.
Well, let's just have a little kind of mourning for how badly that went.
Okay. Stuff nice has happened.
Did you see Phil on what was it? What did you see Phil?
I
On?
saw Phil on QI.
Oh, QI. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you like
I
QI?
didn't like that environment.
You didn't like it?
No, I was the
I could-
best
I could tell.
in the run through. I was the best, before because there was no. But it was a bit formal. As soon as a formal, be funny like that. I just,
Right. What
I
is that?
took- I
But
can't
what
do
is
it.
that about, Phil?
That's about being like 4% autistic and not wanting to go along with because comedy's about doing the unexpected, and there was no room for you to really. You had to formalize your delivery and make it all and do it at the right time. And it was early on, and they weren't quite sure of how the show was actually going to progress. Because what they want is free flowing, invented ideas but they kind of give you the answers and give you not answer, but they tell you what it's going to be. So it wasn't a very nice environment. But the run through was good because the run through was unscripted and you could buzz the buzzer whenever you wanted and muck about.
And were they liking what you anyway? They
No,
were
you've got to be a
Oh.
torso that's humorous and work and want to be funny in that way.
And that guy with the curly hair, I've never laughed at him. I mean, God love him, but I've never laughed at Alan something.
Davis.
What's his Alan Davis? He's not. I've never laughed at him, but I think it's hospice comedy. It's where people who are just very. Look, can we just all just live in peace and harmony and just so Alan Davis is perfect for that kind of time. That sort of.
It does work though.
Oh, it does work. Yeah, it does work. Does it?
So it's so,
It does work
it
because
is,
it does work.
Again, it's like if you watch it, you're up for that kind of stuff.
But isn't it funny? So you said do you think you have 4%, or do you think you are
No, but
spectrum
that's
or
the nearest
autistic?
equivalent. No, I don't have any of those.
How do you know?
I think I would have by now.
Why? Huh?
I would have. I don't know. Being realistic, you haven't either, have you? I mean.
Well, I think you might like the fact that you have this thing, this gift and then okay, we're going to film it, and then you're like, fuck off or something, or you don't, you're against. Or am I missing the point
No,
totally, Phil?
that's it. That's what happens with some things.
With some things.
Yeah.
No, it's just your personality doesn't fit into it. Maybe you have.
You've just got to want to do it, and if you can't explain why, if you don't want to do it,
Is it like, when like 6-year-old girls and they're playing around, and then when they're put on the spotlight, go on, do the thing, and they're like, okay, is it too much pressure?
You just compared Phil to 6-year-old
Yes.
girl.
I-
I feel like that doing this a little bit. Like people they say, "Oh, I'm so funny," and tell jokes to a friend, and then the minute there's a microphone and spotlight, and they all start stumbling, and the heart start beating, and the voice.
Well, maybe
comes
that's
out.
it. Maybe what I saw and what people have seen, when you see comedy where it's like top of the mountain, maybe you can't replicate it because it's literally there. So it can only.
What are you
I'm trying to say.
saying?
I don't know.
Well, still little
Unless
comedy.
you blow people's heads up or something.
What, Jack? Daniel?
Like that's so funny that people's heads explode or something.
it rarely happens. Anyway, you're probably more interested in being lovable and fun, and where laughter is the response that comes to you, rather than doing jokes to get a laugh. That's quite formal anyway. I'm coming on now, and I'll start being funny. It's fun to play around with the whole idea that you're presenting funny by not doing safe things at work. That's fine.
Do you find life absurd?
I do.
Do you?
Yes, I was on Fair City set, and I thought everything was happening. It was absurd, and people running around.
So
trying
Fair
to
City
do,
is a soap opera, and
I can imagine.
and
Hannah does makeup.
trying to set up this, do this, and it's just like there's
ridiculous.
getting stressed,
Yeah,
screaming
yeah.
at each other, and it's it's just a comedy. It's just like a theater, Either you take it lightly or you just think of it's a big self-importance.
Yeah, that's truly absurd. Where you think the whole of the world is going on, there's troubles in the world, and there's poverty, and there's issues, and then they're filming that nonsense. That's very absurd.
Yeah.
Well,
But it
yeah.
entertains some people. 500,000 of Irish people watch it.
Yeah, but
you know?
also people eat fucking McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? So
yes, yes.
But
and also 85% of Irish people got vaccinated.
oh Jesus Christ, fuck me! Don't
Even
go,
though
Against McDonald's.
I don't know. She just goes on about vaccinations all the
No,
time.
it's
85
just
is
like-
enough to have a...
enough is enough because it was
Okay.
anti-democratic.
I was
movement.
interested to know, like for instance, when I first I was doing street performing for a long time, right? And I found that when I made people laugh, I made more money. And then I saw a stand-up comedian, I think it was in Copenhagen in 95, 96, and I thought, I'm funnier than him. And so that I wanted to try it out. But also, being narcissistic and desperate for attention and feeling like I don't exist, the surefire, that sort of, when lots of people are looking at you and laughing at you, I found that very fulfilling, maybe is the wrong way.
Oh, you felt alive?
I felt alive. I felt in that moment. Was there that kind of thing that drew you to it, or you just thought, I'm brilliant at this?
I have got a take on that.
Go on.
I do.
Please.
I just don't. I just feel like if there's someone who's doing it, as long as they have a good time, that's great. I just never got any ego buzz from it or anything. I understand there are angles of it. Practically everyone I've looked at and liked on stage, you go, wow, it's amazing. So I can imagine that when it goes well, people are going, oh, that's amazing. I've never sort of had any of that. It's just a creative act, and it's fun to do, and it's so little preparation, it's so little expenditure. You just do it. It's so great.
Well, for me, that's the thing that blew me away. But that I was very that you were so approachable. Like, because when I was starting off in Edinburgh and whatever, 96, 97, and someone like you who was, in my head, really well established, there was a sort of a clique, there was these comedians and then those comedians and those. But you talk to everyone. You
I
weren't.
transcended cliques. You're right, and it's my hometown, Edinburgh, and plus whatever. I was sort of a name there, and yet I was just out in the streets looking for fun, because that's the fun. And then you were fun, and you did good things, and it was interesting, and then there we are. You had all those coins, hundreds of coins. Yeah. Just like guitar cases full of coins.
Remember one night we were when this was
the
back
day
when I was.
before a car busking for 600 coins. Ooh.
I was. Me
You were
and
like
Phil-
Pippi Langstrom.
I was
Big
I was
treasure.
drinking
Okay.
back then, and there was one night we were in a hotel room, me and Phil, and we were very drunk, and we were playing musical instruments out of the sort of wardrobes and the fucking things, and I started flinging coins out of the window because I was so drunk, and then the next day I was out in the car park looking for
No,
the
that's
coins.
no. You not flicking them out. You went. We got 150 quid for a laugh, and just went fuck it. I can't want to carry it around with me. And then out the back of the hotel, and then I was round there for weeks going. I can never be skint again because there is money here somewhere. I was going to buy a metal detector, but they were there. All these coins out the
God.
back of the hotel. Got about 30 of them back.
And I think you annoyed the shit out of a lot of these comedians who were sort of driven and, kind of, I've got a career, sense of purpose. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And, they have a career path. And then they'd see you sort of flitting around the place and unencumbered by that sort of stuff. And it was quite, huh? Do you know what I mean? Did you sense that from people? They couldn't
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
They couldn't categorize you.
Who knows? I
Who
don't
knows?
know.
I know.
Yeah, you
I-
don't know
Probably.
what they think.
I'm on a bike. I'm having a good time, and then I got a TV series, but then I was never doing much around after it. So, but I did rise to whatever. It's pretty amazing.
So you did have a TV series.
Yeah, I did have a series on
Oh,
Channel
really?
4 late at night, Friday night, and
What
then
was it called?
Phil
was
K.
called
Fields.
Phil K. Fields, and I felt something different each week. One time I felt natural, so they built me a tree, and then I had a wee haystack that would move around, right? And then I found the guy in the audience with the biggest feet, and I had a pair of size 14 women's stilettos you can get from a drag shop. And I was like, and they came out the haystack, and then I made this guy wear really large stilettos that fit him. It was brilliant. And
Were you
I loved it.
commenting on that?
I was
or-
just like doing stand up, and then I'd have some props.
Oh yes.
And so I had a tree that was a computerized tree or whatever, So I had this haystack, and then I just did stand up about nature or
Oh
something.
yeah, but did you ever really prepare yourself for those
Oh, yes.
for those shows?
Oh yeah, because TV. So I did about.
Yeah.
You had to have some jokes all written and planned, as it were, and then you just make, because I had the audience bring things that I could
Yeah,
then
yeah.
make fun with. And one time they all had airplanes, and they had to make them in sheet paper. They had to make them into airplanes, and then 100 people threw them at me, and I was standing, and all these planes fly around, and I had to catch one, and then I read their message, and it's like, it was
fucking
fun,
brilliant.
brilliant. When you
Brilliant.
get
Yeah,
audience
yeah.
suggestions.
Yeah.
And then there was someone was like, invent a vending machine for joints or something. It was their idea of an invention, so then you could just rip from that. So people would tell when you're definitely making it up. That was fine, around a structure. But that was with budget and planning, and that was really good fun. And yet it's still a bit like, you'll have to wear an orange T-shirt. You have to dress better.
Why do you have to? No, I'm just putting it closer.
Yeah, put it closer.
No.
Oh God.
No, do you know what? As well, I thought, like 30 years ago, you were doing stuff on stage. Like, this is 30 years ago. And I go to comedy clubs every night. I see what's happening, and it's not really the form hasn't really. So I'm just thinking, 30 years ago, people were thinking, what the fuck are we looking at? As regards Phil.
But
Yeah.
people get you as well.
No, but I mean, in a good way. I mean.
Oh yeah.
In a good way, they were thinking, like, I mean, it was quite ahead of its time, or exactly for the right time of its time. Yeah, sorry.
Have you been going out a lot and stuff? Are you having fun, Hannah?
We're trying to talk. I'm having an interview, and I'm struggling. And then Phil disengaged completely and just went, actually, that's a load of shit. And I think that encapsulates why Phil is not interested in the smoke being blown up his arse. He doesn't like it. Who does?
Actually, the vaping is quite obnoxious. Yeah, I don't. I think. In
Hannah,
terms of,
how have you been doing? Oh yeah, we're going to Thailand, aren't we, on November the 20th?
Candy Floss
yeah,
Factory.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, he's doing it again. Look, it's filling the screen with smoke.
Sorry, Daniel.
It's vaping is actually worse than smoking.
Okay, Daniel, I'll stop it. Hey, how do we have Nicolas Cage news?
Yeah, it's more about.
Regular features.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage news.
Don't mind, Phil. I love Nicolas Cage. Nothing trivial about.
He's
Nicolas
always
Cage.
up to something.
Yeah.
People love him. I don't get it, but I
where's
get
the
it.
Nicolas
I don't
Cage.
I don't get it either.
It's like he's so cold because he overacts.
I don't know where the Nicolas
that
Cage
it?
sound effect
Okay,
is.
I'll put it in afterwards.
You know,
but yeah,
and
it's-
some of his madness
there's
used
a lot
to
of
suit
new-
his roles.
Go on, Jack.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Now he's playing the
Okay.
cult. But he's in a new one where he's in your dreams.
Yeah, could you,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least if you're going to speak into the
Well,
microphone,
no, you can't pick it up back here.
you can. Well, then what?
Ah!
Go on then.
No, but it is actually about that his new film Dream Scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, no, well, there's a lot of news about it, but like basically,
This is his renaissance.
Yeah, this is his
Perfect
renaissance.
pitch.
Yeah, and he's in a very uncomfortable sex scene.
Shut up, Phil.
He's in a very uncomfortable sex scene in the film, and
Oh yeah, Phil thinks he's a real silverback gorilla when he's around the ladies. You know,
And
He's a
not,
sex machine.
not just when I'm around him, but when I'm not around them as well. I'm so
They're missing
gathering
him.
giant leaves. Gorillas don't drink. You know, they don't drink water.
They don't?
No, they get all their water from the leaves. They never drink.
they got all the water from their
If
leaves.
you see a massive silverback, you know, having a wee sip,
That's not true. Oh, you mean
They don't drink?
They drip it. What do you mean? They eat the leaves they eat?
it contains all their water. So they're in the Congo in a mountain. They're not looking for a stream.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Do other
Sorry.
monkeys do the same?
No.
No.
What
just only
what about
gorillas.
his
Monkeys
the uncomfortable sex scene, Jack Daniel?
Oh, sorry.
Can I just also say that sex is very rarely, well, it's never captured properly in films because they always show the wrong
French.
thing.
No,
Maybe in
French
films,
can
they
they do
do,
it.
"Ooh la la."
They
No,
do.
but they-
Ooh
I
la
don't
want
la.
you to do it.
I want to see
Vincent Cassel.
Oh, kiss me, Vincent. Oh, he's so sexy.
He is
He's so
sexy. It's
sexy.
raw.
Down
it's
by the
there,
river,
it's
Seine.
real.
Oh, it is the French. The rougher they are, the better it is. Oh,
I
have you
can't
seen? What's your
compete with
favorite
this.
three French? Have you seen that
Can't
one?
compete.
My heart beat. The beat my heart skipped. And that French woman, that's a, good sex scenes and love.
the beat my heart skip.
The beat that my heart skipped.
And that's the title of
Yeah,
the
but
movie?
what were you thinking of French?
No, let's say the movie I think it's Mon Roi, My King,
Oh, Jesus.
with Vincent Cassel.
Moi roi. How do you even say it again?
Mon roi.
Moi roi.
Mon
M-O-N.
Oh,
Or-
mon roi. Sorry,
Mon roi.
Mon roi. À la cœur de la roi.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he's so bold.
Bold.
You know,
Bold
it's
as well. Like he tells that he's a one.
I'm being I'm annoyed
he's an
now that
asshole.
Hannah and
But she
Hannah.
falls in love with him.
I'm
anyway.
annoyed that Hannah and Phil have broken off, but it is a very good film, Mon Roi.
Mon roi.
Yeah, with Vincent Cassel. I have to agree with that, Daniel. Do you want to finish your fucking point, Daniel?
Sorry.
It doesn't matter.
No, go on. Don't
No,
doesn't
we
matter
wanna-
me.
Because
son
it's
of-
about sex. We want to hear this.
What does he say about the uncomfortable sex scene in the film?
Oh, it's just like an extended sketch or something.
So what does he do?
I don't know. I couldn't find out the information quick enough. Okay, and you're putting me on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I'll
are
do an
putting-
impersonation of him because he's got that very,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
easily impersonatable
Yeah, yeah.
voice next to the case. They're all doing him.
Yeah.
I don't even impersonate him. I impersonate other people's impersonations. of
Yeah,
him.
you just get the general feeling.
You
of
get
it,
a general feeling, and then you sum up. He's very, very easy to impersonate, Nicolas Cage.
That's funny if you're doing an impressionist.
I thought you were going
Yeah.
to do it.
No, I know. I don't.
But no, that's a good. He's being
I
he's being
can-
meta.
I could imagine it.
That's the new
I could
thing.
imagine it.
Oh,
Nicolas Cage. Has he got a lot of overbite? Is that him?
No, that's Matthew Modine.
He should have done.
What was he talking
that-
about, Daniel?
can't
Son of a
remember.
bitch. What was he talking about? There was an uncomfortable sex scene, and he was talking about the uncomfortable.
Yeah,
sex
I don't know. There's a headline, and you have to look into the rest of the article. Like,
Did you
know.
not look into the rest of the article?
Well, there was things happening.
oh, he got an
happening
erection.
during the day. Or?
Yeah, I don't know.
KG.
I'm behind this week.
He
Unfortunately.
didn't have time to prepare, as I didn't have time to prepare, and
We don't need time.
I'm
though,
sorry.
really. We don't need time.
because Phil, you don't need to prepare.
Thank you.
Just
I'm
you
just ready.
go and do it.
Yeah.
And I remember
Apart from
listening.
this.
Yeah, but I remember listening to in Edinburgh, I think, and you were talking about trip. You know, you were going to a different villages or countries, and then you would, you know, it was like a tree branch. So you just go one and you go aside, but you managed to come back to the main story, and it was incredible. And otherwise, you wouldn't keep the attention of people, but you managed to just go off and
It's
come
a
back.
fine line
go
because
off- yeah.
your details can be average, and yet your interest in them can be exceptional. So people eventually will be laughing at your thing of it because you've got to have something to be going on about, but they may not be that funny. Like my taxi driver,
They were very detailed.
What was your taxi driver going on about?
he had his seat right back.
Phil, go on.
You know, and.
Why? What?
And then they let people call him and didn't answer the calls. It was really loud quadraphonic speakers. So it's like, ring, ring. I was like, just answer or knock it back. But he let the calls ring out. It was his friends. I don't know why I didn't answer it.
I recently got a. Did I say this? That I recently got a.
So it may not be that funny.
No, I hear you saying, but I recently
But
got
if-
picked up by a taxi driver in Spittle. Didn't I tell you about this? And basically, he was telling me a story for 20 fucking minutes, and the point was he had a puncture. That was it. But he was 20 minutes, and he was telling me
can beat that.
every fucking detail. And then but there's nothing goes on in Spittle, so a puncture is a big story. So you know, it's a culture shock when you hear people talking about nothing for 20.
My guy, he said to me, I picked up some people at the airport and I drove them in the other day. Then they got a call in the cab from Ryanair. Said, you've got
He's
the wrong...
he's telling you
He's got
this.
this story. It's just coming in now. And he goes, Ryanair phoned up the people and said, you've got the wrong bags, right? And she goes, oh, so they got out and they told me to go back to the airport. And then when he went back, they handed the bag back to the people, and they didn't pay him. That was the story. But he said it so many times, like he didn't get it. That I got it. I was like, yeah. And he goes, I mean, I can't go back with the pay. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's what the story is. I get it. I said, you're being a storyteller. You're just not doing it very
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
You're
right.
going
Yeah.
over the same ground. And he sort of looked at me and
Did you
carried
say
on.
that to him?
Yeah, yeah.
You
it
didn't
was
say that
no,
to him?
I did. It was brilliant.
Oh my God! You
I-
gave him a 2-star.
then I said,
review.
why didn't you just, you were back at the airport anyway to get a fare. He goes, yeah, no, but I can't be expected to go all the way back. I said, I know, but it happens. So then,
Yeah, right.
Then he's going, and then I said, well, what about their bag? How had they got, whose bag had they got? And where was their bag? And
Right.
had they stolen it? And angles on the story he hadn't considered.
Right.
He didn't know he was driving with a master.
Yeah.
So I'm doing these workshops for taxi drivers.
But it is amazing that
It's called Sore Neck.
yeah.
Soreneck.com. But you just basically you work the rear mirror. You don't, obviously, but you get your story sorted. And I'm helping these taxi drivers, just hone it down and get their stories.
And you naturally, when somebody say, and sometimes people will preface it. Wait till you hear this. They'll say, wait till you hear this one, and you go, and then you kind of go, okay, wait till I hear this one, and then there's nothing.
And there's nothing.
There's nothing, and it's 20 minutes, and then you go.
That's like teasing, like women tease men or men tease women. And they
women tease men.
with feathers and dressing.
Go on.
dressing, or
Clothing,
whatever.
with
So like kiss me,
little
go to
meals,
bed, and then they
kissing,
say
go to
no.
What? Yeah.
Oh, have you done that with guys where you've seduced them and led them on and giving
And
them
then kick
impression,
them out of the house.
giving
yes.
them the impression that you were going to have sex with them?
Yeah, and then you just say no.
And what would have made you look at them and say, actually, no? They might have
it's
said
just-
something.
Yeah, they might have said something. Oh, you see, like man boobs on them. They
Oh,
take
yeah.
off the shirt and there's man
Oh,
boobs.
you've rejected them at that stage. Oh, God. Nothing worse.
But they had pants on.
Pardon?
They had pants on.
Can you imagine some guy like, I'll take me shirt off.
He had pants on, right
Yeah,
up.
they had pants on, yeah, and then take the shirt off, and they're man boobs.
Oh
and
man,
it's-
boobs. That's the last.
Daniel,
one. That's
what do you think
give me,
about-
Give me his name. I'll work.
What do you think about your mother and how she treats these
wait.
potential love suitors?
Well, it explains a lot what's wrong with society. Yeah.
Well,
There's nothing like it.
else, Barbie doesn't have a vagina, and Ken doesn't have balls.
And he comes in another box. He becomes. He comes in his own box.
Yeah.
Because Ken comes in his own box.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, funny. Yeah, he's nothing. He's just all smooth.
Yeah.
Because if he had a little set of anatomically correct, pre-molded genitalia, it'd be all wrong.
Yeah, she doesn't have either, you know.
He doesn't. He's no balls to shave. She's nothing. I know. They're dolls.
Yeah.
We're not expecting them to reproduce. Mattel does that. Mattel. Oh, Mattel.
Mattel reproduces.
What about sex
Mattel
dolls?
is the
What about
is
what?
the
Sex
reproduction.
dolls.
Yeah.
No interest in me. What?
Oh yeah.
Have
As
you
if
ever
you
used-
don't.
None whatsoever.
You
No
love,
interest, Dave.
When
I have no interest.
I hung around with
You will
Phil,
never get me
and
lying
he'd be on the corner of the thing. He'd be shagging any opening.
You try and get me to land on top of an inflated thing and get some cold. I mean, how are the seams done in that?
Seams.
The seams in the plastic, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I nearly got thrown off a ferry once because I was on a ferry trip, and some guys had one. I was like, "Guys, come on, it's just so awful." And they were like, "Why you're going over the side?" I was like, "Ooh." I imagine.
On a stag do.
Yeah, then I thought they might throw in the doll after me as a life raft. That's all I'd have to keep me awake. And then the irony of having to cling to a.
Oh, how good.
So you'd end up swimming on top of her, doing at least getting towards the
It's
coast.
so funny, Phil. That is such a visual treat and such a beautiful, beginning, middle, and end. Isn't it? The idea
Yeah.
of this guy who's, fucking inflatable. These guys, and he's so against it, and he
Inflated
looks
ego.
down.
Inflated ego.
And he looks down on these people because and they're just lads, working class lads, having a bit of a fucking laugh, right? Right? Yeah. And then Phil, this high kind of artistic guy, and they throw him off the boat, and then they throw the other thing. It's beautiful, beautiful. I'm sure you've done that. Have you on stage?
I've never said that.
Have you not?
Last
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's.
Oh, it's genius.
It's a true story, Dave.
My God, it's such a beautiful bit, isn't it? Don't you think?
Of course. You should learn. Listen and learn. Excuse me. Écoutez et répétez.
Écoutez et répétez.
That's so good, Phil. I love that.
Mon roi.
Listen, Phil. What about your books? Are you writing any new books?
I've just finished a massive one.
Just finished.
I
Do you
just
have it here?
No,
No?
I can show you a photo.
Yes.
It's
I wanna
really
see.
great. It's
What
called.
is it all about?
It's all about, basically, dear children, I'm afraid I haven't seen you for a year,
Oh,
and here's what I did every single day.
that's so sweet.
Brilliant. But it's called War and Peace, which
War and Peace,
sounds like
okay.
War and Peace, but it's War and Peace, meaning,
Sex and peace.
sex and peace. Or,
Can I ask also, Phil? How many kids do you have?
6.
Amazing.
And they all have really lovely names. Oh, I love the one which is got Lion.
Lion.
Look at that one. That's the cover of that one. That's me crying.
Oh, right. Brilliant.
Show me, Hannah.
It's great.
War
600
and
pages, massive. It's an opus.
So is it like autobiographical?
Yeah, that one's
or-
just a year and a half of diaries and thoughts. So it's like 1,000.
And from which year? Is it from when you were young?
Just up till
or-
about 6 months ago.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Hannah, it's a letter to his kids. Everything he's
Okay.
done for.
Okay.
It was a way of just writing 1,000, sort of journalist articles, 1,000 columns of just stuff. So it's like, but it's just, I had to write and then I just kind of find a way to do it. I've written one since, which is called The Comedian's Guide to Ulysses. It's called See You, Jimmy. Which I think it's quite funny. See You, Jimmy. And so it's basically all the jokes in Ulysses. Because if you get all the jokes, you probably finish it. Because a lot of people think but it's all funny, all of it. It's all nonsense and wit and clever Irishness and funny. So that's what I'm trying
Are
to
you
get.
supposed to, you're supposed to listen to Ulysses? It was written for listening?
Possibly true, and Finnegan's Wake even more. That one that came after. Finnegan's Wake is all total sound and gurgly through you.
I've got to listen to
but
it.
Ulysses, actually, it's really great to read it because you can reread it. You have to reread it because you go, eh? And then there's a lot you don't get because you can't get it till later.
Can you give the casual? Can you give us an idea of something from Ulysses? Because I think the
Yeah,
problem
no
people would
problem.
have with Ulysses
I
is
can.
go on.
One of the main characters is called Leo Bloom, and he works in advertising, but it was sort of in a strange kind of way. But he's in a newspaper, and he's out and about thinking to himself, and then he's on a tram, and he thinks of this ad. He sees these guys walking around each with a letter on their head of a shop, and then he goes, "What about my idea for a stationery company? A see-through glass carriage with women inside it, typing and writing letters, just going slowly around Dublin, going, what are they writing? Who are they? They're beautiful. And it is advert for a stationery company. I mean, it's like goofy and daft, but it's kind of like a surreal thing. And it's like a funny.
So
joke.
it
Funny.
was what do you think captured the imagination of people back when Ulysses was released to the general public? Was it the style that he wrote it in?
Yeah. The styles are very different now. He's got lots of, but mostly it was like super modern because it was like internal thought turned right up to 10, and then there's the sex, and then there's the shitting, and then there's the wanking by the beach.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex in it.
And do you think it's was he trying to capture what the human experience is like? Was that what the idea
He was
of
sharing
it
it. I think he had it, and it's quite familiar. Even if you don't, if you're not quite getting it or something, it's still how a brain works.
It's like the stream of consciousness.
It's like a stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Not all of it, because there's so many bits that are like strangely irritating. Like he does a lot of parodies of like, and there coming over the mountains of Killarney, where he goes into these voices that are parodies and pastiches more than they're parodies. So it's not all stream of consciousness, but some of the most of the, many of the chapters are someone just thinking, methinks, whatever.
Do you think he'd be a good
Or
stand-up
he
comedian?
doesn't use
I think he would
any
be, yeah.
stops or
Can
commas.
I just I was in
No,
the,
he does all the time. But in the last chapter, which is Molly's, she does a monologue for about 30 pages and there's only 6 sentences. So that's total stream of consciousness. And that's what the book lends you to get. So that by the end, it's inside a woman's head. Before it's all guys in pubs and men and a Jewish guy thinking about his life and meeting people in pubs, and then another young teacher, like a young James Joyce, teaching and thinking about life and in a different kind of way. And by the end, it's just a woman's stream of consciousness. And I kissed him by the beach. Oh, I wonder where he is now. Oh, he told me I might just go down the docks tonight. Oh no, I remember when I met my, she just
Right,
free
right.
Yeah,
flowing,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
true stream of consciousness writing, which we all do in our heads.
had people not done that before that?
Not right to that extent. And you might even say internal dialogue began with the novel, like, that's what the novel was, a way to press on, or pass over internal thoughts that were very,
Okay, so we're going to finish up, but I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage James Joyce. How would James Joyce? What would he do? What
He'd
would
come in, he'd have a really good seat. He's tall and handsome, and he'd have his hands in the things, in his waistcoat pockets, and he'd launch into describing some characters you saw on the street today, and you'd get it. You'd laugh as you got the truth. He wouldn't be doing rug pulling gags.
He'd probably come on straight away going, oh, he says to him, he says to me, or
But
he
he's
says,
very,
he says to
he's
him.
very good at wordsmithery,
Right,
and he
right.
invented scrotum tightening, all one word. The scrotum tightening C. So he might be like Vagar's in the,
Yeah.
scrotum tightening.
Well, Dylan Moran is a bit, does a bit of that, doesn't
Why
he?
not? We all do, but he's
Phil does a bit of that.
does a
I
bit of
know
that.
he
Phil does a bit of
does.
that. Phil does a bit of that. What I do? We all do a bit of that.
No, but you do a lot of that.
How long have we been broadcasting My Son, My Prince?
Yeah, exactly.
For an
Words,
hour.
wordplay and fun that just comes, because so much stuff just comes when you're speaking. And
Yeah.
if you plan,
Well,
it would
can
be
I
different.
also say, Phil, that's probably the best the best promotion, I would say, of Ulysses, because the problem is, I think a lot of people have with these things, like golf could be a good game, the kind of fuckers that play it make you not want to play the game. Same with Ulysses, these kind of pretentious people around Joyce or around theatre. And so to talk about it in a very naturalistic way is
Tons of gags.
kind of
Tons of gags.
because he didn't write it for specifically intellectual fucking university graduates. He wrote it for everyone, I assume, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
Or
he
did
wrote what he was. He was like, alternative comedy decided to give the audience a whole different experience, and it wasn't just different. It was actually, what do we really want to do now? So he did what he really wanted to do, which I think is what he'd want to read, and what would entertain him is this.
Do you think it was a
Writing.
reaction to the stuffiness of his?
Natural zeitgeist thing. 7 years, but he was pretty amazing. He met his wife, his partner, in the street, and they was moved to the countryside in other countries, and then they had a terrifically productive, good social and sexual life.
He went to Clongoweswood College. I also went there.
Really?
James Joyce, yes.
Remember we went to, near Fortifort is a
Oh
tower
yeah,
where,
the tower. Somebody shot him.
Yeah, he stayed with 2 of his friends, and they got into
Okay.
battle.
They had a bit of a drunken night. Can I just say, Phil, this is a day of days for me. That me to see it, because when I first met you, watching you, so it means a lot that you're here. Hannah loves you because you're so good with the kids and all
And
that.
also, did you tell that it's Phil K came up with the
Oh,
title,
and that's why we're not
and
together.
That's why we're not together.
That's right.
Remember, we were in London, and we after what the comedy club,
Top Secret Comedy Club.
after Top
And you
Secret.
nicked that rich guy's
wa-
sake that night. You nicked the film director's sake. Anyway, I couldn't believe I came up with a throwaway line, but it's
Yes,
brilliant.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause look,
That's
also,
what
I love you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Because look what you're doing. No one does this.
So, and thank you to my Prince Daniel. I'm
Love you,
sorry,
Daniel.
what was it? What's his name? Nicolas Cage thing
Nicolas
didn't go
Cage.
well.
Oh, it did go well.
It didn't go well. It's okay. Don't.
Yeah, but, yeah.
It did go well.
Oh, well.
And Jack isn't here because he doesn't want to graduate. Thank you. So, can you put our play out music?
Yes. Where is it?
Yes, boss.
Yes, Buzz.
Wait, is that playoff? No, I don't know.
I'll put it in after Jack Daniel. Thanks very much, Hannah. Thanks very much, Phil. Thank you, Phil. We're going to do a gig now. Oh, yeah, okay. Leave that music on. You can fit.
Hey.
Everybody's talking.
It's where we're going. Is where Joyce is. My gig's in the Buck Mulligans.
Yeah, we're going to Perth.
of my
Kitchen is
mind.
very close.
Yeah, and his guitar's somewhere.
That's